welcome everybody to our talk. We're really fortunate enough to have our dynamic duo back with us. Fresh from Korea and China, where Wonji Sang Sunim was leading a retreat at the Six Patriarchs Temple in South China, which is a very historic event. The first time that our Zen teaching has gone back into China, where originally came from. So we'll hear more about that. Wonji Sang Sunim will be answering questions after Mu Sang Sunim, our beloved head Dharma teacher, director, and also Sang Sunim's secretary, gives a talk. So it's very interesting. And before he starts, I'd just like to introduce two other guests who many of you already know, but some don't. We have Tan Sunim over here, who's a new monk, just reset from China. And over here is Mu Sunim, who's a nun from China, Hong Kong, actually. Is visiting the United States for our 20-year ceremony, which will be in October. So thank you all very much for coming.
Good evening. There once were a couple of Zen monks who decided to take a walk. Zen monks are always taking walks. I don't know why, but because they always say to take a walk. So these two monks were taking a walk and they came to a river that they had to cross. But by that river there was this very beautiful young lady who was my great teacher. It's always doing something unpredictable, just like my other great teacher. But at any rate, they came to this river, and there was this beautiful young woman who wanted some help in crossing the river. So one of the monks just picked up the woman and carried her across. And then the two of them continued on their journey. So 1 hour passed, 2 hours passed, 3 hours passed. All of a sudden the other monk said, "You know we're not supposed to touch women or have anything to do with them. So why did you carry that woman across the river?" And the first monk said, "Well, I only carried her across for 10 minutes, but you've been carrying her for 3 hours." So Zen means not carrying anything. And I sort of have a little story about that from my own experience. Like 8 years ago, I was sitting minding my own business in the Dharma Zen Center doing sculpture, and Sang Sunim said, "You have to go to Korea." Not you have to go, you're going to Korea. Not do you want to go to Korea, or would you like to go to Korea, or gee, I have this neat idea, but you're going to Korea. So I said, okay, what am I going to do there? He said, you're going to learn Korean and be director of the Seoul International Zen Center. So I said, okay, and you're going with David Latimer and Mu Sang Sunim, who's a new monk. I said, okay, and I thought about that for a week, and I got intense energy up with the idea of being the director of anything. So I came to talk to Sang Sunim again, and he said, you cannot be director, that's headache. So you must be Zen Master, okay? And someone else will be director. If they have a problem, they only come to you, okay? So you are Zen Master. So I said, thank you very much, I like that job. So I went to Korea with David L. and Mu Sang Sunim and Kwan Um and Mu Sang Sunim. And Sang Sunim had his own room, but the four of us had, for all of us, a room about a third of the size of this room that we were all living in. So that's called Together Action, and we actually practiced it here. But that was pretty intense. So after 2 days of that, I decided I was going home. And I said, Sang Sunim, I want to go home. I'm sorry, I'm not cut out for this. And he said, if you go home, everybody will say, after only a few days in Korea, everyone will say you were crazy. And I said, well, that's okay, sir, I am becoming crazy. But he said, no, you can't do that. So I said, okay, then in that case, you said I could do a retreat sometime, so I want to go up to Junghae-sa, which is our temple in the mountains, and do a retreat. So he said, okay. And he and Mu actually took me up there and dropped me off at this little house facing a big statue of Kwan Um. And I met the abbot, who was a nice looking man who spoke a little bit of English. And so he said bye-bye, and he and Mu left, and there I was, with this contract that I was supposed to sit and practice in this house all the time and go up to the actual monastery for meals 3 times a day, which is kind of nice, at least. But, so there I was in the middle of nowhere. I mean, people from Korea may not think that's nowhere, but for me, that was definitely the middle of nowhere. And it was kind of amazing because I'd suddenly become part of this very small, intense family. There were like 3 or 4 monks, and 1 or 2 Bosanims who worked in the kitchen, and 3 or 4 young orphan boys who walked down the mountain every day to school. And me, a white face, a mukuk around. It was weird. So, but they were extremely nice to me. I couldn't, believe how people just accepted me into this family. And then, of course, they slowly tried to teach me what correct action was. But I wasn't having too much of that. So I basically would stay at my cabin with Bao and chant. And, but you sort of have to learn how to eat. Korean monks have this very ceremonious style of eating. It's like, sometimes food can be more ceremonious and polite. And I've never been terribly polite, so, but anyway, I guess they just sort of chalked it up to me being a migusara. So that was, it was learning for all of us. But at any rate, I had this big question at that point, which was, why had I, at the age of, maybe some 40 years old, suddenly become an orphan? And I felt like I was just one of the young temple boys there. And I completely lost my home. I couldn't go back to America. I couldn't go to Seoul. And I was on this mountain indefinitely. And so I had this big question. And then every once in a while I'd sort of wonder, well, what's Sang Sunim doing now? I bet he's really having fun. And that used to drive me crazy. So I didn't really understand too much about controlling my mind in those days. So everything just appeared. When you do a retreat, sometimes all your karma appears, and it appeared. And lots of feelings about my parents appeared, and lots of feelings about my teacher and everybody. But I didn't really know how to digest it. So there I was on this mountain in Korea, waiting for the seasons to change. And after a long time, they finally did. It finally became spring. And the guy I was closest to, who was the abbot of this temple, suddenly decided he was going to go to America for a visit. And that, I probably should have gone with him, which would have been nice, but instead I stayed there. And that left me with absolutely no one to talk to in this temple in Korea, except a couple of younger monks who were sort of, didn't know any English at all. And the orphan kids, and Bosanims. So I responded to that situation by letting my back go out. And so for a month, fortunately that happened while I was at the temple itself and not in the retreat place. But so then I spent a month in bed, much to the consternation of my Korean host, who I was taking up the only guest room in the temple. And I would hear sort of, I didn't know much Korean, I sort of tried to pick it up, but Korean is not really a language that you can pick up. I mean, you really have to study it. And I hadn't done that because I couldn't stay in Seoul, because I couldn't stay in a room with 4 people. So anyway. I would keep hearing these words like Nigu Tsuram or Nigu Sunim, so I was convinced that everyone was talking about me all the time, which may or may not have been true. I really have no idea. But after about a month of this, like I would call Sun Sunim and I wouldn't be able to get in touch with him, and his telephone was like my lifeline. And finally, I get in touch with him and I said, "Where were you, sir?" And he said, "You didn't keep Kwan Um online, so you couldn't connect with me." So that made me feel great. So finally, after a month or so, Sun Sunim and Ryaksim and the whole crew came up to the mountain and paid a visit. And Sun Sunim said, "Okay, we're going. This show's over with." So Ryaksim packed up all my stuff and carried it down the mountain. And I guess somehow I made it. I suddenly had energy to walk down the mountain. Went on to other adventures in various parts of the world. And one of these adventures was in Paris. Sun Sunim decided I hadn't done enough hard training, so he sent me to Paris to do a 100-day retreat. And that was very different from being in a Korean temple. I was in this little apartment, and so I kind of did this retreat. But I really had my mind on something else. And then the only problem was after the retreat, this other woman appeared who was also a student of Sun Sunim's, who he was trying to teach to be a teacher. And she and I sort of got along with each other like sodium and water, which meant there was a big explosion. And that was our karma together. And Sun Sunim came and visited us, and he seemed to me to be spending all his time talking to her and didn't seem to understand my side of the story. So I had this other big question, which was lodged in my consciousness. So eventually, after a brief visit within a hospital for rest and recuperation, I came out here to LA and did some special practicing. And the special practicing I did was basically like lying in bed and watching TV for 14 hours a day. And when I become a Zen master, if that ever happens, I'm going to make all my students do that. But I had this big question somewhere in my mind. And many people tried to help me. But I was not going to be helped. I was definitely on strike. I had this big question. But somehow, at a certain point, I guess like the man in the story, I decided this was a little too heavy to keep carrying all the time. So I don't know why, but I started letting it go. And then I had this very interesting interview. It wasn't exactly an interview. We were sort of sitting in a movie theater together with Mu Sang Sunim. And I said, Mu Sang Sunim, I have this big tug on. And he said, what is it? And I said, why does Sun Sunim like this woman teacher better than me? And Mu Sang Sunim said, I can answer that. And somehow I got it. So I realized that it was a big waste of time for me to be holding anything. And it was a big waste of time for me to be checking my teacher. And it was a big waste of time to do anything except my job. And he could do whatever he wanted. And I hope he would. And do it without me. But at any rate, I was very happy then because I didn't have to think about it anymore. And realized before I had this kind of idealized notion of a teacher, or not so much of a teacher, but my relation to a teacher, which meant that I have to just love everything they did moment to moment to moment. Well, that's not possible in this life. I mean, anyone you have a relationship with, if they're your teacher or you're married to them or whatever, you're just not going to love what they do every moment because that's not our mind. So what I finally realized was I just had to accept my mind the way it was, which is kind of horrible. But it made me feel a lot better to do that. And so recently we went back to Korea and China, which is why I started telling this story, because it wasn't actually until I got back to Korea this time that I realized how much I've been holding. I had some pretty definite opinions about Korea for the last several years. And when I got back there this time, I realized that everything I'd been thinking about Korea had nothing to do with Korea at all. It had to do with the fact that that was the place that Sun Sunim happened to dump me off on. And so he could have dumped me anywhere, and I wouldn't have liked it. But I went back this time and I realized it's a very interesting place. I mean, people are really kind of neat. They're different. I mean, the customs are different, the rules are different, the hospitality is different, everything is different, but it's extremely wonderful. And it's a challenge to try to function in a completely different society. And a society where people are like very meticulous about human relationships, which sometimes we're not. But at any rate, so that was a big relief. And then we went to China, where I always feel, for some reason, completely at home, even though it's very hot, it's very humid. And but we'd be walking down the street and people would just be staring at us, and with these kind of very interested, curious, friendly looks, you know, very simple mind. And it was a great feeling. So, So one of the things that happened, you know, life is very interesting. I'd always had this idea that I wanted to be a teacher, I wanted to have a student or something, and then one student appeared. Then the student started hitting me all the time, and I wasn't sure I wanted to have this. At any rate, it's like, somebody once said, you should always be careful what you want, because you will get what you want. And when you get what you want, then you really understand yourself a lot better. So also, it made me really understand what Sun Sunim went through with me for years. It's like I gave him a really hard time, and I've never thanked him enough publicly, so thank you, sir. And it's like, so life is very interesting. But, so the other day Sun Sunim was telling me, he said, you know, Mu Sang Sunim, you must always say, I can, never say, I cannot. So like for years after this, my back went on in Korea, I just decided I couldn't bow anymore, or I wouldn't bow, or at any rate, something. But after going back to Korea this time, suddenly it became possible to do it again. So, you know, I practiced some new practicing breathing exercises, and I don't know what happened, but suddenly, you know, I was able to do that. So I figured if I could bow, then really anyone can do anything. So, and that's really true. That's our teaching. You can do anything. We can all do anything. And it's amazing how much energy we waste not doing the things that we really want to do, because we really can do the things we really want to do, and we can help each other, and we can get happiness. So, Sun Sunim is probably going to tell us about how difficult the world situation is becoming. I want to say, by the way, that the wonderful thing about Sun Sunim's teaching is that, you know, he always says, first you must kill your parents, then you must kill the Buddha, then you must kill me, Sun Sunim. So he wants us to grow up and learn to hit it. And, you know, that's freedom. It's like, if we can show our teacher that we're independent, then he's very happy. And if we want to have students, then we have to have that same mind, that we're really happy if our students can do that, you know, for us. And that's a very rare thing, you know. Usually, everyone is trying to get on top and be number one and put everyone else down, and we all have, you know, that mind. But Sun Sunim really doesn't. I mean, Sun Sunim is really happy whenever any of us succeed in anything. And that's an extremely wonderful and rare gift to all of us. So I know he never walks around thinking that he's a great Zen master, but I certainly walk around thinking that he's a great Zen master, and I hope you all ask him some really good questions from the heart, and hit it if you can. And thank you all very much for coming.
Sounds like a very good speech. So, if you have a question, your problem, your question, your problems in any kind of question. No. Yeah, that's a good question. This world might have problem.
So you often talk about now how the world has a lot of problems, and you can just see that. You can see that if you just go outside. There's all these problems, everything's going on. So I ask you, with all this trouble, now what's most important? What is most important?
Who are you? Who are you? That's most important. Very important. What am I? Now many people only look at outside. See something, hear something, smell something, taste something, touch something, think something. Always checking outside. Never return to inside. That's the part. That name means animal mind. Human being means sometimes taking myself, return to myself. That's very important. How many people return to myself? Only few. Maybe Dharma Zen family will back. Myself, always 24 hours when you look at outside. Morning, sex, anything, check it. Then something happening, very feeling. Something happening, very sad, suffering. It's a human being. All animals in the world, big animals, small animals, fish, they all always check outside. Never check inside. Never return to inside. Never. So human being and animal different. Human being sometimes return to myself. That's different. So always 24 hours every day when you're checking outside, that's outside the human being. Inside, same as animal. But those type of people is bad than animal. Wow. Animal only eat food, get food, then stomach full, then sleep. Nothing. Human beings, stomach full, then more bad action. Hunting, killing, fighting each other. What's a bad action? And animals never use this skin and bone. Humans all catch animals, then they take out skin, make shoes, make clothes, make something, And this bone also make necklace or something, decoration. That's it. That's an animal. So nowadays, human beings, too many human beings. I one time talk about 1975, 1945, human beings are 2 billion. Only that is many thousand years. This is, maybe China history is 5,000 years. Maybe Buddhism 2500 years. Okay. And Christian only 2,000. That many thousand years, only 2 billion. From 45 years, 1945, they only had 47 years. 47 years. How many? Over the 3 billion. So now over the 5 billion. Why is your time? Too many human beings are most understand that. So human consciousness all comes from where? Consciousness. So all the society, somebody bad action, the government said make ground, underground, make stuff. You are bad man. Only you stay here. Then this man said, okay, I bad man, so bad action. Somebody bad action. So only stay. One day, they come. Now they bad people into the jail. Then all broken jail, they go down. It's not just changing, That means number one bad. human beings, number one bad thing. Some newspaper and television say nowadays, all this, Africa, any jungle place, before jungle, have jungle. So not have animal over there. All jungle disappear now. So also all animals disappear, all cats. Have no jungle, have no animal. So much rain appear, much have a problem. Human much make problem in this world. The air becomes dirty, also water, mountain, everything becomes dirty. Also many make pollution. That's human being. Also human being the same as the dog mind, cat mind. Cat don't understand dog mind. Dog don't understand cat mind. Also snake, any kind of animal. Only they understand their mind, okay? Only other animals don't, I don't care, don't understand. That's the animal mind. Nowadays, in Africa or other countries, many who also die, have no food. So, all gone. In America, every day, man, much more to eat the garbage. That's not correct, yeah? That's the law of action. So, what is most important? That means return to my true self. Say my true self. Time correctly and truth correctly. Right? That's very, very important. Time correctly and the truth correct life. Then we say love. Okay. Christian says love. What is love? What is love? That's very important. And what is compassion? What is the bodhisattva action? That's very important. If you have this mind, there is no problem. Have not this mind, even you have much money, have a lot of food, have a time, smooth and so yeah, wake up. I'll wake up. In Taoism said, I understand evening time, understand the correct way, though, understand evening time, though, then understand morning time, though, the evening time I die, no problem. Morning time, understand though, correct way, then evening time die, no problem. But then say, this moment, attain your truth, then this moment of time, no problem. Because of truth, there is no light of that, but it's beyond light of that. Our body has light of that. That's my head. That's my head. Okay. That's my hand. That's my leg. That's my body. My body, not I. Ever think about, many people think about, oh, I have a problem. Oh, I have a problem. I have a problem. I headache. I headache. That's not my head headache, okay? My body has a problem, my body, not I. It's a big mistake, huh? So, this body is your body. It's like your car. Your car sometimes engine problem, a tire problem, some body shop problem. That's your problem? No problem. I get to throw away this car. You gotta get my new car, no problem. Same as that. If you old some sick, you must throw away your car. Your old car is unnecessary. That new car, no problem. That may need freedom, life and death. Freedom from life and death. Okay? Freedom from life and death. That's our practice. Then practice not attain your true self. Then you will get freedom, life and death. That's the point. Okay. Question? Still no question? Any kind of question. This all might have problem.
the difference between reincarnation and rebirth?
Incarnation. Last night, I go to restaurant, eat this French noodle, okay? This morning, I ate this, oatmeal. That's all. Somebody 1 year ago, very not so good, Japanese car, drive Japanese car. He get money, so Japanese car threw away. Now he very hard car, maybe jogger. He has money, so he needs a car. So if you, when you have your body, that time, many good action, many practicing, that next life, good car, good body part. Okay? If you this life, many bad action, bad thinking, many problems, next good car not possible. You have no money. That's all. Reincarnation. So, that's a strong practice. Then you can, life and death, freedom. Okay. But you not practice. Your karma control you. Your karma kill you. Your karma, you get your body. Maybe sometimes snake and lion. If that's better, go to this demon also. Demon also is better, they go to hell. So, when you have body time, you have body, any kind of body, no problem. Woman body, man body, doesn't matter, okay? American, Korean, okay, doesn't matter, okay? Japanese, doesn't matter. When you have body, many good action. Also, don't make good and bad, and just practice. Then, next life, very good body. Maybe Bodhisattva body. So this word cause, effect, then claim. Only go to a church, only play. Only go in the church and play, good play. Then outside, many bad actions, still morning, I think cannot go to heaven. God cannot help you. You must always good thinking, good action, help other people. Then, no problem. Go to heaven, no problem. Also, correct practice. Heaven is not important, hell is not important. You can, heaven and hell, freedom, coming going on. That's the freedom. If you don't make anything, you get freedom. You make something, you get something. Okay? That's the point. You want something, you get something. If you don't make anything, you get everything. That's very important. So if you want everything, don't make anything. Okay, more questions?
Would you comment on the quality of devotion? Or what is the teaching in Buddhism concerning the role of the teacher? Particularly like Hindu traditions which teach about a guru. Through devotion to the guru, through surrender to the guru, the thinking mind falls away.
Okay, this Hindu style is love the teacher. Only love the teacher, follow the teacher is like slave. So maybe they say devotion. But what is Zen? This teacher-student, what kind of relationship?
Teacher only point the direction. You would go that way. Never say, then never say, you must believe me 100%. Never say that. That means that everybody become independent. Everybody become independent. That's Zen practice. So you must believe me. Okay, won't believe you. That cannot become independent. Okay. Everybody else become stronger. Then attain themselves. Then become independent. So Zen teaching means to become independent. Guru teaching, you must believe me. Your money, all my money, okay? My money, my money. Your money, my money. Okay? Okay, more question? Yeah, you have question. Your problem. Nowadays, food market has problem. In United States, we don't have problem, not economic problem. So that they have problem. Nowadays, much problem means in Russia, then in Russia, before many guns, aramband, many kind of have. So now, before not so much strong country, they have much money, their oil, much money. Then they many buy something, nuclear weapon or something, guns or any kind of buy. Then in the future, what kind of happen in this world? Okay. Then nowadays we have UN society. America not so much has money. Also Russia cannot pay money. Each country cannot pay money. Then this UN cannot keep this organization. Okay. Then have no money, have no power nowadays. If I have money, have no power. UN have no money, have no power. Then each country, I have gun, I kill you. Who is that? Who is the control? Soon this society has power. Their name is the end of this world. Okay. Not only Christians say, end of the world, you want to bring God. Not this time. Okay. Look at this world, okay? Look at this world. Soon, before 10 years, soon, many problems are still. Small countries, or many big oil countries, they have much gun, much Araban, they have. Don't boom! Who is control? That is much dictator country. Dictator country. Also, this other country, or not dictator country, that is a private dictator. If you have money, any kind you keep it possible. Huge. Not only country, private army, private area, the other people cannot go in over there. Then one person, she's a king, the king. Oh, he has much money, he has everything, gun, aramband, then something happens. That soon this can happen. That means rotten. The human being is rotten, begins rotten. So, then how? What is correct? That means attain my true self. Very important. Outside condition, changing. All human, this world is soon rotten, soon rotten. Like I say, I many times talk about that. It's a clear. Springtime, beautiful flowers. Flowers disappear, then small seeds start. Then some summertime grow. The force is a good color, red color and green color. That means the society all changes. Before this world, the society is godly. Godly. Then Renaissance appeared that 14th, 15th century, something, human is not human. Yeah, human beings are better than God. This idea, Then French Revolution. The French Revolution, that time, they say, we are freedom and equality. There are no God. Okay. There are no God. Human means equality, freedom. That's not so much. That human means not so much longer. 1917, the Russia Revolution. Common. Then after capitalism. Both sides continue coming today, but 3 years ago, communist disappeared. Capitalism also cannot do anything to disappear. Nowadays, on economy, morning, Japan #1. Okay. Maybe Germany have a problem, inside much a problem, but we have much more. So that's the no direction. Now no direction. Only money. Only money. Money direction means have no idea inside having. Also money direction is very dangerous. Because have no money country. Much how many countries they have much money? Huge country. Huge. Whole world, many countries, hungry, very much hungry country. But much problem. This world country. That is human world have problem. Human world. Also, all animals don't like human beings because humans too many bad actions. The all animals. Big fish, lion, and tiger. Almost disaster. So big fish was here. Where also disaster. Almost disaster. So, not only that, any kind of animal, man, humans are all eat. Then what? After 10 years, what will happen? Yeah, soon. Have no meat. Have no animal. Also, many green milk of disaster. Then weather is changing. Water also. So now the weather is much changing. Returning rain. Whole area same rain. Nowadays, this rain is changing. It's like one side, one part is the sky is broken. It's like water outside. You know, it's that happening. So that means sky is ozone area all broken. So this kind of weather is changing. Also ocean, build up. Because too hot, old. So, north and south, the ice mountain, rock. Not the melt. Yeah, then the ocean build up. So that they have come. You go to China, over there, but not China, Japan, then over there, Shikoku, over there. Under the ground, under the ocean, more down. So much like a problem. In Korea, built up. So that is like ground inside. This is Korea here, Japan here. Japan is down, Korea up. So that is changing. Ground is also changing. That ocean is up. Much human world have problem. So human beings number bad cause effect very clear. This word cause effect very clear. Human beings too much bad action to this world. So human beings not have problem. But cause effect also clear means that humans many animals. So these animals, they what to get about human body? I want to kill you. So this many people nowadays new consciousness from enemy. Everybody have a little bit. Dog consciousness, cat consciousness, snake consciousness, any kind of consciousness have. Everybody has. But how much animal consciousness? How much human being consciousness? So sometimes dog style action, sometimes cat style action, sometimes snake style action. Because I cannot control my feeling. I cannot control my consciousness. That's the animal mind. So sometimes, that you know. They cannot control it. Understand, everybody understands, it's a bad action. Understand, but appeal. So, practice is very important. Any kind of thing you have to, oh no, stop. Then slow, your consciousness, 100% human being consciousness. All animals like consciousness disappear. Cleaning, 100% of human beings consciousness. Human beings consciousness have this love mind, compassion mind, bodhisattva mind. That's very important. That's the meditation part. Non-meditation part cannot. Only read the sutra, only read pray, cannot. Look at myself. Only continue, keep your strong self. Then slow, your consciousness is changing. That's most important. If you cannot change it, when you die, what could demon catch your consciousness? Where do you go? Don't understand. Very be careful. Have a problem. Arabam not dangerous. God is not dangerous. That's the inside your mind, number one dangerous. What question?
Yes. Mine relates to work and earning money. I've been self-employed.
Mine is only your answer.
My question relates to work and earning money. I've been self-employed for at least 25 years. I have a new family, 2 small children. And I'm very good at what I do, but I don't derive much pleasure from it because when I'm dealing with people, I buy and sell. And mostly when I buy, I know so much more than who I'm dealing with. Their knowledge is quite limited. I find it difficult to buy and then go out and sell it for a handsome profit. So I don't work so much anymore. I work very little because I have difficulty going out buying and getting things at low prices.
So you talked about the question is about make money job. He himself business. And that time he's very smart. So buy this land, only little pay money, then sell time, much get money. But inside little guilty, bad feeling. So not so much working. So that's the question. What is correct job?
That doesn't know. More much get money, more get money. Your direction is clear, okay? Your direction is clear, no problem. You must get money, maybe 10 cents, maybe 90% get the 10 cents, no problem. But if you 100% you are only you are mind in mind, then buy house, buy your this, then you go to hell. Get the money not important, get money or not get okay. Much get money, it's okay, why not? You know. Much get money, much to Zen Center or church, any kind, not only the temple, okay?
Well, that's the other problem I have, is I like to just give it away anyway.
That's the problem?
Yes, I get it one way, then I don't really care to have the money. I have money for my family, But I've tried to before put money into private corporations and give it away.
I ask you, why do you come in this world? Why do you come in this world? You want to come in this world? So come in this world? Before you're born, okay, mother, sure, that's the truth. So you come in from your mother. Why? Yeah?
Don't know.
Don't know. You don't understand anything. You're too much smart. So, you don't understand coming this way. When you begin, you don't understand. Don't understand you. Don't understand your direction. Okay? Now you have much money. You don't understand that you not dislike the problem. Not dislike this happening. Okay? That's a before life already. Your karma already determined that is life. So you're thinking, or just you're thinking. Okay. So you are not thinking only moment, do it. You get money. Okay. You keep the everybody, keep the church, then again you get money. You have follow your good action, then you get money. Oh, I get money, then to the church, then have problem, I have no money. That thinking the number of that thing. If your life before that, many good actions, many deeds, then many give to church, many give to the church, then still money coming in. More coming. Okay? Don't worry about it. This world, cause, effect is very clear. Cause, effect, very clear. Everything primary cause, and condition, and result. Who made this primary cause? You. You make your primary cause, and condition, and result. So, against this result, at that time you was against primary cause. This primary cause bad, you get this result bad. Okay? Primary cause good is you. Result is good. So, everything make your body natural first, your body your true self. So you must dress in the clear, everything clear. Okay? Not have money, no money doesn't matter. Your direction is clear. Your money going, coming also clear. So what is your direction? Huh? Only money direction? What kind of direction?
Clear mind.
Huh?
Clear mind.
Clear mind. Clear mind? What is clear mind? If you have no mind, clear mind is not necessary. You have mind? You have mind.
Problem solving.
No?
Yes.
Sometimes. Sometimes have mind, sometimes no mind. Which you know. So if you have mind, they have problem, okay? If you have mind, clear mind is very important. If you have no mind, clear mind is not necessary. That's the point. Only moment you want to do it. Dog never say my mind. Cat never say my mind. Okay. Dog, cat only do it. Moment to moment do it. Human beings make mind and hold mind. And say, oh, in my mind there's problem. My mind is bad. This mind very much. Make something and hold it. So then said, put it all down. If you put it all down, then we get everything. That's the point. It all down. Much get money, very important. Okay? Much get money, much help for the people. Church and the temple, everybody. Okay? It's good. Why not? Try it. Okay, more questions? You can say
Sometimes I think about, like, this talk, many people appear, but other times, not so many people appear, so what is our mistake? This talk time, many people coming, appearing.
Many are people out there.
Yeah, but daily practice, every day, living here, not so many people. So some mistake? What is our...
This is one cow, understand? One cow better than 10,000 is a fly. We Korean said, understand many people are something have food, then it's fry. Fry eat it is food. Many coming. Long time ago in China, not that long time ago, if you go to Shanghai, then in the road, many good, food sell. Okay? So many good cake or something that somebody buy cake, then very good car, dark car, good. So into the mouth, then all the fry come up. It's all the fry here in the cake.
So, as the situation keeps getting worse, so many people, human beings are going to die, right?
Maybe.
So, all that suffering, then human beings will wake up because some are suffering.
Maybe this, this suffering, maybe suffering, but if you're thinking, your dress is clear, suffering is not suffering. One day go to India. In India, then no food. So many car passing, Richmond passing, they are begging, sizing begging. This hand have no dress, only bone. Many people, many thousands of people, begging. Sizing coming with them. They will get money. They will get food. Cannot get money, they cannot live. There are one man asked you think about that time, the car, saying the Indian people, good car, passing from you. Then many is the dusters, they have no asphalt, okay? So many times, here, all that coming, the human body, on the human body, passing. You, what kind of feeling? You're not bad feeling. They might have morning or good car running from you, then the dust coming, all your computer. Not bad feeling. I'm not bad feeling. Good. No feeling. What does it mean? Yeah. They dislike. Much direction, get car and running from me. Better. Soon. After maybe 10 years or 5 years, they die. They go to hell. I am many dust, many dust. But today I die, tomorrow die. I have no problem. The human being up here, die and correct. So, he is not that feeling. My mind, very peace mind. Many dust coming in. Thank you very much. Thank you. Then die, then I go to a pure life. So that's the most important. That Indian life. So they are not suffering. Hungry? Not suffering. Many bad actions, this society, many bad actions to me? Not angry. So, English, many years control India. But cannot. They have no church, okay? English church, many go over there, postcard. Cannot become church, okay? No church. Also cannot, hungry people, also poor, after Second World, any country, or poor people country, any country become common, okay? China, any country become common country appear. Revolution. Because the rich man, poor people, they revolution, okay? The common concept. India, rich people, poor people, too much wide, too much difference, but cannot become common country. India. That means I have no food, have no house, have no nothing, but inside very peaceful. They have peaceful. But in India, you are not. That's the most important. So India now cannot control, people, cannot control people. In China, only one family, one child, okay? Very strong rule. That's the Chinese rule. So, they 1 billion people. Still 1 billion people. India, much grow. Soon 1 billion people. Then next year they 1 billion something, okay, more up. So India cannot control any kind of cannot control. So complete freedom life. They don't care anything. Very inside, strong mind. Outside only follow situation. Inside, their direction is very clear, very strong. That's Indian.
So eventually, it's like when I've had a lot of suffering, finally, like you say, if you don't understand, then more suffering is necessary, right? So soon, a lot of suffering for everybody on the planet, correct? So then eventually, everybody attain enlightenment.
Outside the situation make me suffering, then I might have problem. Do that 60 years make suffering. Not outside make suffering to him. He makes suffering himself, inside. Only sitting under the old tree. Much suffering. That means that he makes suffering.
Yes, but this will make people question, what am I?
You have direction and suffering, then getting enlightenment. Direction is clear and the suffering, then you get enlightenment. Have no direction, only outside the system make you suffering, then you get enlightenment. More suffering, maybe exposed.
I have one more question. Okay, when this animal consciousness gets human body, when it's an animal body, pretty simple consciousness. But then this animal consciousness get a human body, this is a mix, right? Like mutation, some strange thing happens, right?
Correct. So animal, this is the many life around this animal consciousness become human consciousness, okay? So human one consciousness, some kind here, dog consciousness, cat consciousness, lion consciousness, many kinds. Whether human being consciousness, not only dog consciousness. Understand? So that's nowadays human being consciousness.